I'm Scott Duff. I'm the author of several books on the M1 Garand rifle and publisher of 23 books total. My lifelong interest in firearms began when I was 10 years old and received a Daisy BB rifle as a Christmas gift. And I didn't shoot Black Bart, and I didn't shoot my eye out. At age 12, my dad took me out behind Grandpa's barn and taught me how to shoot a Marlin 81 22 long rifle and an Ivor Johnson 22 pistol. I was born in 1953 at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, near the end of my father's 3 years in the Marine Corps. In the 1950s and 60s, Dad and I watched a lot of period movies and TV shows like John Wayne and Sands of Iwo Jima and Jack Webb and the DI, and of course combat on TV. And I read a lot as a child. I don't know what other kids were reading in the late 50s, early 60s, but a lot of my time was spent reading my father's guidebook for Marines. I taught myself first aid, map reading, but I spent a lot of time reading about the M1 Garand rifle and the 1911 A1 pistol. I knew when I was old enough, I wanted to own an M1 rifle and a .45 pistol. In 1983, a business trip took me to Holyoke, Massachusetts, and I had some downtime before my flight back to Pittsburgh. I visited Springfield Armory for the first time, and I was hooked on all things Springfield Armory, but in particular, the M1 Garand rifles made at Springfield during the war. In 1984, I began shooting in service rifle batches to qualify to buy an M1 rifle from the DCM, which was the forerunner of the CMP. In the summer of 1985, I received my first M1 rifle. After I received my first M1, I wanted to know when it was made and what it looked like when it left the manufacturer. Unfortunately, there were no books available geared towards collectors back then. After several years of research and looking at a lot of original rifles, I was able to answer both of those questions, and I decided to share that information with my fellow collectors by writing my first book that was published in 1988. My first book was The M1 Garand of World War II, A Guide for the Collector. That book went in print in 1988, and went out of print in 1993. I replaced it with what collectors call the Big Red Book, and that was the M1 Garand World War II. I also wrote the M1 Garand Post-World War II, the M1 Garand Owner's Guide, and the M1 Garand serial number and data sheets. This is a Springfield Armory M1 rifle that was manufactured in the spring of 1945, and it epitomizes the final production for World War II. It is in unfired condition. My fascination with the M1 rifle became focused on the men who carried it into battle during World War II and won the war and saved the world. And with the men and women who worked at Springfield Armory, I agree with what General George S. Patton Jr. said in January of 1945, stating, quote, "In my opinion, the M1 rifle is the greatest battle implement ever devised."